And this is a quick review of your swing with a video I took on the range the other day. A lot of good things with the swing. It's pretty much on plane and a lot of good things happening. But let me just point out some things that I would look at if it was my swing. Good setup and see this takeaway. See how this right arm, you really don't have arm rotation because you still see the right arm over the left, which means the club's going to be kind of straight up. And see how it's kind of bunched in there? And it gets you to a point at the top. I couldn't see it by the eyeball, but this position at the top um, is going to present some problems on the downswing. Let's compare you to another golfer. Shoot. See how this turns out it's Adam Scott. Now he has more flexibility than we do, so that's the top. But we can't get there, but we can get here. And see how his back is leaning away, your back is leaning towards the target. So he's set up for a reverse weight shift. See how close your hands are to your head? And his hands are some distance from his head. And his left arm is basically straight. So his back's away. Back is leaning away from the target. Hands are extended so he has maximum width here. And what I was seeing from you is, see how it's all kind of jammed in here? You should look like this at that point. So if you just memorize this shot, I'll give you a hard copy of this. See how you're just kind of bunched? It's almost like you've got someone told you to keep your right bicep pinned into your body, and that's old school. That doesn't work. See, he's airing out the armpit. So this is what I think you need to correct. There might be a grip issue too. You might have Johnny look at your grip, but it looks like you're not really setting your hands. So if you get more like this at the top, it just makes the golf swing easier. That's where you are. Like I say, I give you a hard copy of where it should be. But as you come down, you know, good lower body action. See, you're pushing off. That's really good. Pushing off the right side, clearing the hips. They're a little late. This right knee's kicking in, which is really good, and you're extending through the target. That's pretty good effort there. It's not too dissimilar. His is a bit better, but you have the same concept. He really releases that right side, and so do you. I mean, that's pretty good. Here's the thing on arm rotation, though. See, your left hand at this point is still above your hand, and if you rotate your arms, you'll look more like Adam Scott and your son. So this right arm at this point should be crawling over your left, and now it's under. He's got a full release, you don't. So let's look at it from the other angle. Really good posture, good setup. Okay, let me draw some plane lines. Here's your shaft line. Swing plane is any line parallel to the shaft line. It doesn't have to be right on one of the yellow lines, but a line parallel to it. And the idea is the club head, shaft, and the handle remain on a line parallel to one of the yellow lines. Anytime we break the plane, we have to make compensating moves to put it back on. That's a pretty good spot right there. Toe up, the toe of the club is up. It's a little inside, but it's basically on plane. See how your right arm is kind of jammed into your side, and then it crawls behind you a bit. Now, you know, this is close to on plane, and it looks like your wrists aren't really fully set. Again, Adam Scott. See how his his elbows stay in front of his body, even to here. See by the shadow and all, you can see that that elbow is still in front of his body. Yours is crept behind and is too deep and too close to you. See how it just seems like a little cramped. I like to see the club more of this kind of a laid off position here. That's on plane. It looks a little laid off, so I'd say if you can get your club to be more there at the top. The problem with being at that spot is across the line, and when you start down too steep. At this point, the club should be at the ball. So it's off plane at this point. But see when Scott starts down, he's right on plane at this point. Now, you're a good athlete. You're going to make adjustments because if you don't change anything here, you're going to drive that club right into the ground. So what happens is you try to save it with your hands, so you're flipping at it. You end up, this is a pretty good spot at this point, but you had to make a correction. The lower body is pretty good action there. And you come through and you end up with a little chicken wing, but you have to fight this thing because, again, if you don't make any adjustment from here, you go from here, you know, you just kind of throw your hands at it. You get it back on plane. So I'd work on changing this top position, you know, get a little more off in that direction. They call it laid off. Get your right elbow in about here, and then I think the rest just kind of fits into place.